Hello, my dear students. Tonight I am going to discuss with you, rather, read with you a novel thing that is a famous short story by Oscar Wilde, The Happy Prince. And you know that Oscar Wilde was born at Dublin in Ireland on 16th of October 1854, and he was an Irish poet, a short story writer, and a novelist too. And he was a talent in literature, in English literature. However, he became popular playwright in London, and his short stories like The Selfish Giant, The Happy Prince are memorable for all ages to come, especially to the children. Though they are meant for children, actually they bear a great significance and a great note of interrogation. And his famous works, the works which have actually made him famous, were the picture of Dorian Gray, a famous novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and the importance of being earnest. The importance of being earnest was staged in London for a long time, and it was a great success on the stage. However, this great playwright, short story writer, and a novelist was unfortunately imprisoned for a very indecent work, that is homosexuality. He was tried in the court and he was imprisoned. And this great figure in English literature died of meningitis on 30th November 19,000. That is 19,000, and his age was only 46 when he breathed his last. However, this is his life in a nutshell, and I am not doing my introduction lengthy. The Happy Prince is a very good chapter, is a very good short story. Actually, the Happy Prince is a statue, a beautiful statue. He was covered with gold plates, and he had sapphires in for his eyes and ruby in his sword. What he wanted, what he wanted was to serve the poor, the impoverished, because when he was alive, he led a very happy life. And that is why he is called Happy Prince. He is no more, but he is recollecting his youth days, how he spent his happy days in his young stage. Okay? So I have discussed with you tonight the biography of Oscar Wilde in a nutshell and the background of Happy Prince in a nutshell. Now let us read the story. High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of Happy Prince. So the Happy Prince, the statue of Happy Prince was established or situated on a tall column. That is the column from which the entire city of London is visible. Clear? He was gilded all over with thin lips of fine gold. That means his whole body was covered with lips of gold or golden lips. For eyes he had two bright sapphires. Sapphires, one kind of costly stones, which are set into her eyes, and a large red ruby glowed on sword hilt. And ruby is a pinkish stone, very beautiful pinkish stone, which is set on the handle, that is gripped on the handle of the sword, which is gripped, and the ruby is set on the handle of the sword. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. Swallow is a little bird, and this little bird flew over one night there, and his friends had gone away to Egypt, and the friends of the little swallow had already gone to Egypt, because Egypt is a very comfortable country, and there they have already flown away, but he had stayed behind. But the swallow had been left behind, and he decided to go to Egypt too. And he also wanted to spend his winter days in Egypt, because Egypt is a very comfortable country during the winter time in London. All day long he flew. At night he arrived at the city. All day long the swallow flew over the city, and at night he arrived at the city. Where shall I put up? He said. That means where should I take shelter? Where should I settle? That is put up. Put up is a phrasal verb. I hope the town has made preparations. And he thought the town had already made preparations for his shelter. Then he saw the statue on tall column. All on a sudden his glance fell on the statue of the tall column on which the statue of the Happy Prince was situated. I will put up there. Yes, I will settle there. It's a fine position with plenty of fresh air. As it is a high position, there will be a plenty of fresh air that I should enjoy, that I would be able to enjoy. So he alighted just between the feet of the Happy Prince. So he settled. Alighted means came down and settled. He came down from the air and settled between the 2 feet of the happy prince. I had a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself. That is, he murmured, he spoke to himself that yes, I have got a very beautiful golden bedroom. Okay? As he looked around himself and he said to himself that it's a fine place and I should settle here. And he prepared to go to sleep. And he was ready to go to sleep. Okay? But just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. As it is the posture of a bird when he goes to sleep, he puts his beak into the feather. So he wanted to put his head under his wing, and just at that time a large drop of water fell on him. What a curious thing. That is, what a strange thing. Curious means here strange. What a strange thing, he cried. There is not a single cloud in the sky. The sky is cloudless. There was no sign of cloud. Yet, and the stars are quite clear. That means the stars were very bright and they were shining, they were glittering, and yet it is raining. Yet it was raining. Then another drop fell. When he was thinking in such a manner, another drop of water fell on him. What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? Then what is the use of the statue if it cannot prevent water? If it cannot protect the bird from water? He said, I must look for a good chimney pot. And he said to himself that he should look for a chimney pot under which he would settle, he would take place, he would rest. And he determined to fly away. And he decided firmly to fly away from that place. But before he opened his wings, just before he was going to open his wings to fly away, and he determined to fly away, a third drop fell. Just at that moment, third drop of water fell on him. And he looked up and saw, what did he see? What did he see? It was a very strange thing that he saw. The eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears. The eyes of the happy prince were full of tears, and tears were running down the golden cheeks. And the tears were rolling down, coming down his golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. The moonlight has fallen on the golden face of the happy prince, and it made him very attractive, very bright, and that aroused pity in the happy prince. Who are you? He said. I am the happy prince. And the happy prince replied that he was happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Then what is the cause of your weeping? Asked the swallow. You have quite drenched me. That means I am quite drenched. I am quite wet with your tears. Okay? Tonight I am taking farewell from you, and the next day I shall go on with the Happy Prince whenever time is available. And stay safe, stay mellow, avoid mass gathering because COVID has not yet taken farewell. And I think I would be able to give you word meanings, questions, explanations, etc. the next night. Good night today. Thanking all of you. Don't try to forgive. Don't try to forget to subscribe my channel. I hope firmly that you would subscribe my channel, like it, share it, and comment too. Thanking all of you.